Published 1639 EDT, the 8th of October 2017. Updated 2028 EDT, the 8th of October 2017. Two men have been charged after brain damage. Boxing legend Michael Watson was doused in ammonia and scarred for life in a terrifying carjacking. The former middleweight champion, 52, was sprayed with the corrosive liquid as two men tried to steal his car near his home in Chingford, East London on February 16. He had already been left with life-changing injuries after his infamous fight with Chris Eubank in 1991. Former boxer Michael Watson, 52, was left scarred after he was attacked with ammonia during a violent carjacking in Chingford, East London in February. Two men have now been charged with conspiracy to commit robbery. Simon Luck, 28, and Paul Samuels, 30, have both been charged with conspiracy to commit robbery. Mr. Luck, of Manor Park, East London, has been handed the additional charge of actual bodily harm and 2 counts of possession of heroin and crack cocaine with intent to supply. Mr. Samuels, also of Manor Park, was also charged with possession of heroin and crack cocaine with intent. They appeared at Thames Magistrates Court on October 4 and will remain in custody until they next face court at Snaresbrook on November 1. People's champion Michael Watson is pictured with his middleweight champion belt. Watson was knocked into a 40-day coma by Chris Eubank in 1991. It was the fight that lost him the WBO super middleweight title. Watson suffered severe brain damage after Eubank's punch knocked his head onto the ropes. In hospital, he had 5 life-saving operations and spent months in intensive care. He now requires a carer as a result of the incident. Speaking 6 months after the horrific attack, Mr. Watson was desperate for answers. He told the Chingford Guardian it hasn't been easy. Mr. Watson was attacked with his carer and best friend Leonard Ballack. The sporting legend was left traumatized, bloodied, bruised, and scarred, while his carer, Mr. Ballack, suffered a nasty wound to the back of his head, and the noxious substance left him unable to open his eyes for 2 weeks afterwards. The pair spent 2 nights in hospital. Mr. Watson, known in his heyday as the People's Champion, won 25 out of 30 professional fights, 21 by knockout. Watson, pictured right, of Chingford, East London, was left brain damaged after an infamous fight with Chris Eubank in 1991. The former boxer was sprayed with ammonia. File image used as men tried to steal his car. When he was unable to get out, he became trapped by his seatbelt and was dragged 500 yards along the street, but his career ended in 1991, aged just 26, after a fight with Chris Eubank left him in a 40-day coma. Despite suffering life-changing injuries, he went on to defy doctors' expectations, and captured the hearts and minds of the nation when he walked 2 hours a day for 6 days to complete the London Marathon in 2003. His attack sent shockwaves throughout the boxing community, who came out in a show of defiance in support of Mr. Watson. Tony Bellew and Luke Campbell were among the current boxing fraternity to send him messages of support. Campbell took to Twitter to say, "Disgusted to hear the incident involving Michael Watson. I hope he has a speedy recovery." Watson, pictured right with heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, left. The 52-year-old's boxing career ended after a fight with Chris Eubank in 1991 left him in a 40-day coma. Mr. Watson defied doctors' expectations after his fight with Chris Eubank left him with life-changing injuries, including brain damage. Former world heavyweight world champion Lennox Lewis said, "Glad to hear Michael and his career will both be okay." Mr. Luck and Mr. Samuels have also been charged in connection with another acid attack that left a 19-year-old boy blinded. Bradley Robinson, of Epping Green, Essex, was filling up his car with petrol when he was sprayed with a strong alkali on February 4. Speaking at the time, his father condemned the attack and prayed his son would regain some of his sight. Simon Luck and Paul Samuels have also been charged in connection with an acid attack on Bradley Robinson, pictured 19, of Epping Green, Essex. Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.